Welcome back to Namaste Node.js. In this video, we are actually going to start writing code. I am super excited for that. But before writing any code, we will first have to install Node.js into system, right? I have already told you that Node.js is a C++ program. It's a C++ application. You need to install it from somewhere, isn't it? So for that, we will just go to google.com or just go to the official Node.js website, right? nodejs.org. And then from here, you can download Node.js. Now let me tell you that downloading Node.js can be done in multiple ways. Okay, if you'll go to their download page, right, they will give you several ways how you can install Node.js. You can install it from the command line, right? I am on the macOS. See, the installation process will be very different for macOS and the installation process will be very different for Windows, Linux. It will be very different for all the operating systems that you are using. Okay, so choose your operating system from here, right? And choose the Node.js version also, right? There are different versions which needs to be installed, right? You can choose and I would suggest you to just go with the default version, the LTS 20, which is right now, right? By the time you are watching this video, this version might have bumped up also. So don't worry, you can go to the latest version and install the latest version of Node.js. Okay, now, as I said you that there are multiple ways. The first way is to install via command line. You can just copy these commands and then you can just install it. It is basically installing it using NVM. NVM is a node version manager. Okay, so this NVM is known as a node version manager and you can just first of all install NVM and then with using NVM you can install node and all, right? So one thing is this. The other easier way is by pre-built installer. So basically you can just download a file. It will give you a package file, right? It will give you a packaged file. You just have to double click and install it, right? It's a the installation process will be very similar to any other software that you install, right? So you can either install it like this. This is also a very easier and a very good way. You just have to download a file, double click and install it, right? It will be very easy for you. And similarly, but make sure that you choose these things very carefully. By default, when you go to the Node.js website, it will automatically take your OS and it will take your processor over here. But if you are on Windows, right, just make sure that you are selecting the right configuration so that it becomes easier for you to download and you install the right version of Node through the right package. Okay. Now, let me give you a quick disclaimer also. While you are doing this, for 99% of the students who are watching this video, this process will be very easy. It will not take more than 1 minute. But for very few 1% of the students, there you might face some issues while installation. Now, what kind of installation issues? Maybe you have another version of Node in your system and that conflicts with it. Maybe you are not selecting the right processor. Right? Maybe there can be multiple issues which are very specific to your system. Okay. I have seen that a lot of students, I have taught Node before also, right? I have taught it to so many students, but whenever they used to install, right, out of like 100, there is 1 or 2 students who would face issues while installation. And those issues are very specific to your system. Very specific, and it is very tough for me or anybody else to help you with that. For that, suppose if you are facing any issues, I am giving you a disclaimer right away. You'll have to just Google the error, whatever error you are getting, just Google it and Google will give you the answer on the first link itself, right? There must be a Stack Overflow answer available for that. Just follow these steps and you will be able to install it. But what I am trying to say is you might face some issues while installing it. So don't worry. It's a part of the developer's life, right? We face issues. We Google it, we find some answers and then we implement it. So don't worry if you don't if it's not a very smooth process for you. Okay. We are starting learning Node.js and start it with a very strength and courage. Don't be afraid of these small things. Okay. This is what I wanted to say you. So please go ahead, install it. I have already installed Node.js in my system. So I'm not installing it over here right now again. But if I click on this, it will download me a package and then I can just double click and install it. It's a very simple process on Mac OS. And similarly, if you are on Windows, Linux, please follow that process and install it. Okay. Now, suppose you have installed it already. Now, how would you verify that you have installed it correctly or not? Let me tell you how you would verify. Just go to your terminal. Okay. So I use Mac OS and I use iTerm2. Okay, so there is a terminal iTerm2. I don't use a normal Mac terminal. So in case you are using Mac and you see it different, then I am using another terminal. So don't worry about it, right? You can go to any terminal, right? This is what I wanted to say. So just go to your terminal. Now, hope you are able to see it. Okay, let me just make it a little large. Now, to verify that you have installed Node correctly or not, you will have to write a command which is known as node-v. Okay, write a command node-v. Once you do, this command tells you the version of Node, right? If Node.js is not installed in your system, this command will give you an error that the command node is not found or something like that, right? Suppose if I write some command which is not installed, it will say zsh command not found xyz. So it will give you something like this, command not found node. But because we already have Node.js installed, if I do Node.js-v, it will give me the Node.js version. Right now, I am using a version 16.17.0, but it does not matter much. You can install the latest version also. Just make sure that if you are following this course, you are not on a version lower than this. Okay? Because then there might be some things which are not supported. Try to be more than 16 to follow this course. And why I am now, you might ask me the question, Akshay, why are you using 16 version? Because I was working on a project, and in that project I started with Node.js 16 version, so I don't want to upgrade it very soon. So that is why I'm using it. But you don't have to worry about it. Whatever works in the 16 version will work on your latest version. Okay. By the time you are watching this video, the version might have gone up. Cool. So now this is installed, right? So if you are getting this version over here, that means your node is successfully installed in your system. You don't have to worry about it. You can start writing code. Okay. Wait for a while. I'll show you how to write code. Along with Node.js, whenever you install Node.js, there is one more thing that is automatically installed in your system that is known as npm. Okay. npm. If you do npm-v, it's a package manager for Node. If you do npm-v, it will give you the version of npm over here. This is the npm package manager. Okay, it will give you the version of this. This is also installed along with it. So you don't have to install it separately. It will be installed with Node.js. Got it? Now, these both things are required to run Node.js applications, and we will use npm later on. But right now, you should have both of these things installed. This is what I wanted to say. Okay, now take a moment, pause this video right now, go to your system, install Node.js, and then come back again and let's move ahead with the video again, right? Then I will show you how you can write your Node.js code and execute the first program in Node.js. Are you excited? So come back again. I will see you very soon. Okay, welcome back. Hope you have installed Node.js in your system. Now let us just start writing code. But how would you write code? I have Node.js in my system. How would I write code? How would I write code? Tell me, my dear friends. Let me tell you a very quick and easiest way to write code. Very quick and easiest way. That is known as node REPL. Right? Node REPL. Now you must be thinking, what is it? Node REPL. So it is known as node REPL, REPL, right? So don't confuse it with a website REPL-it. There is a very famous website REPL-it. Don't confuse it with it. But node REPL is known as, REPL is a acronym, and it says read, evaluate, and then print loop. Okay, so this is known as read, evaluate, print loop. Okay, so this is a quickest way of running Node.js code. Okay, so now how do you go to node REPL? So there is a command, and what is that command? The command is node. Okay, if you write this keyword on your terminal, you enter the node REPL, which is read, evaluate, print loop. Okay, what it is, let me show it to you. If you write node over here, hit enter, you went to a REPL, right? This is read, evaluate, print loop. Now so basically it enters into a program, right? And what program it is? Yes, you guessed it right. It's kind of like a C++ program. It's a node given program. We have kind of run the node in REPL mode. Okay, REPL mode. It is like read the code, evaluate the code, print the output, and then loop. Okay, so what is it? Read the code, evaluate, print the output, and then loop. Loop means go back again. Got it? So this is known as REPL. Now you can run any piece of code now. Any JavaScript code will work now. Over here, you give any Node.js code, it will work perfectly fine. Do you want to see it? Right? Let me just show it to you. If you do 1 plus 1, it gives you back 2. What is it? It did read, evaluate, print, loop. Loop means come back again. Okay? So 1 plus 1 is 2. You can just do whatever you want to. Suppose if you want to create a variable a is equals to, and maybe let's give it a string, and that string could be Akshay Saini. Okay, hit enter, right? So this statement returned undefined, but it initialized the variable a. Now suppose if I want to print a, the value of a is Akshay. Got it or not? Right? So similarly, you can do a lot of things over here. Suppose if you do where I is equals to 10, right? And then where j is equals to 20. Any piece of JavaScript code will work over here. Now you do I plus j. It gives you 30, right? So this is Node.js code, and we have successfully run our Node.js code. It's not Node.js code yet, right? So basically Node.js code at the end of the day is JavaScript. We have successfully run JavaScript into our Node.js. But where we are running this JavaScript code, whatever we are running this, we are running in the Node runtime environment. What is Node.js? Now you understood why we call it as what is Node.js. If somebody asks you what is Node.js, so Node.js is JavaScript runtime environment. Isn't it? Do you see this, right? Now you understood the definition of JavaScript runtime environment, right? I told you, right, in the first episode itself, that you will slowly understand everything about the definition to everything, right? So if you go to Node.js, if you search Node.js on Google, it says you, right, Node.js is a JavaScript runtime environment. So basically JavaScript runtime means JavaScript runtime environment built on Chrome's V8 engine, right? This is what it is. So similarly, it's a JavaScript runtime environment because it is running JavaScript. Now behind the scenes, it is using V8 engine, isn't it? So I told you the architecture, right? I told you the architecture, isn't it? So we have this Node.js, and inside the Node.js, we have V8 engine, right? V8.js engine, which is the same engine developed by Google, plus we have some more superpowers. Okay, now we will come to superpowers also, don't you worry. We have some more superpowers over here. We will talk about this very soon. Okay, so Node.js is V8 engine plus superpowers. So whenever we wrote any piece of JavaScript code, right? Whenever we wrote any piece of JavaScript code over here, it basically Node.js gave that code, right? That code was passed into V8 engine. That code was passed into V8 engine, and then V8 engine actually executed that code. Okay, got it? So this is what it is. This is known as Node REPL. Okay. Now it is very equivalent to, have you ever gone to browser and you have seen this console? Have you ever gone to browser and seen this console? It is very similar to this console, right? It is very similar to this console. If you do 1 plus 1 over here in this console, it gives you back 2, isn't it? Very similar. Very similar. This is what we were doing, right? Suppose where a is equals to 10, I gave it over here, and then I did where b is equals to 20 over here, and then I do a plus b, it gave me 30. So this is very similar to this. But the difference is, over here, instead of Node.js, we have the browser, and browser is also running V8 engine behind the scenes. So the diagram of the browser would look the same, but this over here, instead of node on the browser, we will have the browser over here, right? Instead of node, here will be browser, and that browser, the Chrome browser that I am using, is also using V8 behind the scenes, right? The browser pass it to V8 engine and execute the code, and similarly Node.js also execute it the same way. Hope you have understood it. We have successfully written our first program in Node.js, my dear friends. Are you excited or not? I don't know if you are excited or not, but this is what it is. Okay, not that fancy, but this is how Node.js is. But we cannot just keep writing our program like this, isn't it? It's very painful to write program like this. Do you write JavaScript code always over here? No, right? There are files, there are folders, you will have to write it inside a file and all that stuff. So this REPL does not work for production, right? Basically, we generally do not use this REPL every day, right? In daily life, we create files and then we write code in our files, right? In a folder, in a file, in a project, right? We structure our code. So similarly, that is what we do. So now let us just go and start building our small repository where we can write and test our Node.js code. Okay, let me show it to you that also. Okay, so for that, what we will do is, let me just close my terminal because I don't need it anymore. Okay, now let me create a new folder and let's rename this as Namaste Node. Okay, what else could be a better name than Namaste Node for this folder, isn't it? Now let me open this folder in a code editor. Now to write any code, we will need a code editor. Listen to me very carefully. The code editor that I personally like and I personally would recommend to you is VS Code. So suppose if you are a front-end developer, if you are a developer who have ever written JavaScript, right, you would have already seen VS Code, right? It's very, very popular for writing JavaScript. It's very much compatible, right? And it's widely used code editor. I personally like it. But if you don't like it, I am not enforcing you anything, right? So you can use whatever code editor you wish to. There is a new editor which has come up, which is known as NeoVim, which is getting very much popularity. But I don't really like it much, right? Not yet. I have seen this, but I'm not using NeoVim. I am using VS Code. I love it. It is very good. And I just love using it, right? That is the reason, no other reason. This is developed by Microsoft. Okay, now if you don't have this downloaded, just go to their official website, code.visualstudio.com, download it, right? Download it for Mac, for OS, for every operating system. It's available and it is free, all free. So please go install it. Cool. So now I already have VS Code installed in my system, so I don't need to install it anyways. But I have installed it. This is Visual Studio Code over here. I just want to open this folder inside my VS Code. So I'm dragging and dropping it over here. This is one way of installing it. Otherwise, go inside it and then click on open and then you can install the folder and whatnot, right? You can do it that way too. So I have installed my folder. I have imported my folder inside VS Code. Okay. I don't know why I am saying wrong words, but anyways, right? So I have got my Namaste Node.js folder over here. I have opened this. Now let me create a new file. I right click and create a new file. Let's create a first file where we will write JavaScript code. Okay. Generally, this file is known as app.js, but you can wish to call it whatever you wish to, right? You can call it index.js, you can call it main.js, you can call it app.js, you can call it script.js, you can call it node.js, whatever you wish to. I am writing app.js, okay? So this is our file. Now, inside this file, whatever we were doing in REPL, right? Whatever we were doing in REPL, I can do everything. I can write any piece of code inside it, right? Inside my app.js. Okay, so can we start writing code? Let us just start writing code. Let's say, let's write name, right? Name is Namaste Node.js. Okay, name of our web series is Namaste Node.js. Okay, so this is the name. Cool. And then maybe What else, right? Let's add some numbers also, right? I'm just showing you random demo of some JavaScript. Okay, let's write a is equals to 10, and then we can write where b is equals to 20, right? B is equals to 20, and all the code can be executed. Now I can also do a console.log, right? Now I can also do a console.log, and let me first of all log the name. Okay, let's log the name, and I can also log the value of a plus b. Okay, so let's log the value. Now, how do you run code? How do you run this code inside Node.js? Suppose I want to take this file. I want to take this app.js file and execute it inside my Node.js runtime environment, JavaScript runtime environment, which is Node.js. How would you run this file? How do you run this file? First of all, I will go to the terminal inside VS Code. People who don't know how to open the terminal, let me show it to you. Here in the keyboard, there is a control button and a button, tilde button, right? Which is just below the escape button. Okay. Press both of them and you will see the terminal will open, right? This is a shortcut. Remember it. For your life, it will make your life very easy. Otherwise, if you want to, don't open it right now. So you might go on the sections above or just open the terminal, right? Terminal, new terminal, something like this. Okay. From here you can open it. But I would say press Control and press this tilde. This is what works inside macOS. In your Windows also, I think it's Control and that. The button below the escape button. Okay. This opens the terminal over here. Now I have my terminal. So now what is the difference between this terminal and the terminal that I opened, right? I opened this terminal also, right? iTerm 2. What is the difference? There is no big difference in both of them. No big difference, right? I can write the same commands over there. I can write the same commands over here, but it becomes very easy when the terminal is just over here, right, with me. Otherwise, you can go in this terminal also and write whatever I am doing right now, you can do there also, right? But it is very easy and handy over here. That is why I use it over here. Okay. So I am inside my Node.js folder. Now, suppose if I want to execute this file, how would I do it using Node? Very, very simple, my dear friends. You just have to write Node and then give the file name. You give the file name and do you see the output? Namaste Node.js is printed, a plus b is printed over here. This is how you execute a JavaScript file inside the JavaScript runtime environment, which is known as Node.js. Got it? So this is how you do it. This is our first file that we have created, first piece of JavaScript code that we have executed inside Node.js. What Node.js is doing, I have told you already, it takes that app.js file, it gives it to V8 engine, and then the code is read line by V8 engine and then executed. Got it? Because JavaScript is a synchronous, single-threaded, line by line, this code will be executed and it will be running inside Node.js using the V8 engine. Got it? So this is how our code works. So we have written our first program. I would request you to please pause the video over here, go to your system, try to run your first code and then come back to this video over here and then we will move ahead with the code because I have to tell you a lot of cool things right now. Okay, so please go and then come back very soon. Welcome back, my dear friends. Let us just move ahead with the code now. Okay, so now we will talk about the global object inside Node.js. Okay, we will talk about the global object. Just like if you have written some front-end code, if you know a little bit of front-end, you would know that in the console we get access to a global object. And that global object is known as what? Window, right? So this window is the global object over here. Do you know that? This is the window. Now, over here, if you write this, so that this also points to this window object. And this is the global object which is given to us by whom? By the browsers, my dear friend. Some people feel that this window is inside our V8 engine. Some people feel that this window is a concept of a V8 engine. No, It's not inside V8 engine, it is given to us by browsers. Right? So it is given to us by browsers in the browser. Okay, this window object. Now, over here in Node.js, we have the global object, and what it is known as? It's not known as window, it is known as global. Oh my god. Right? Cool name, right? It's easy. Yeah, right? So you don't have to remember much. The name of the global object over here is global, right? And if I just run and console log global over here, hit enter, you see this global object. Do you see this? We have got this global object with us. And now, if you will go and see the global object, do you see that the set timeout, the set interval, the set immediate, all these things are given to us by this object. What does that mean? Suppose if I have to execute a set timeout inside Node.js, it comes via this global object, right? So basically, what I am trying to say is, global is not a part of your Node.js V8 engine. Global is outside and it is one of the superpowers, right? One of the superpowers which is given to us by Node.js. So see, I told you, right? Node.js has V8 engine, but it has a lot more things over here. Lot of things. One such thing is this global object, and this global object gives us access to a lot of cool features, right? Set timeout. I can run my code after some time. Set timeout. It gives you access to set interval. It gives you access to a lot of cool properties, method, and all those things. You will see it in a while, right? We will soon see it as we go ahead. And this global object is giving, this global can be. Now see, the code that we wrote, this global object access is given inside this V8 engine. Whenever I write any global object inside my code, so V8 engine, see, V8 engine only follows ECMAScript standards, right? You know that, right? It only follows whatever is there in the core JavaScript language. Like variables, like functions, like if-else statement, like switch statement, like ternary operator, and all these things V8 engine understand. But it does not understand global. It only understands when Node.js gives access to global inside my V8 engine. Got it? So global is Node.js thing, not a V8 engine thing. Okay, so this is the major difference what I am trying to say. Now we have got this global, there is no window. So window is inside browser and global is over here. Now what will happen? So over here I write this and it points to my window over here, right? It points to my window. But if you do a console log of this over here, what will happen? Console log of this. What will happen? Will it print global object or not? Will it print global object or not, right? Let me just comment down all these things first of all, right? And let me comment down global also. What will happen? Will this print global object? Let me run the code and show it to you. The answer is no. Let me show it to you. See, it prints an empty object. Okay, so this over here is empty object. Okay, so it is not equal to the global object which was in case of browsers. Some people who are the front-end developers who want to come and write Node.js code, they are much confused about this keyword. Got it? So that is why I am telling you that the global object is global over here. Got it? So don't get confused with that. It is a very famous interview questions also, and a lot of people don't know about it. Cool. Now, if you would have seen, now you know what happened. Let me tell you a backstory and some, crazy things that happen inside these languages and frameworks and all, right? So what happened was, in the browser, if you write window, it gives you the global object. If you write this, it gives you the global object. If you write self, it gives you the global object. If you write frames. It gives you the window object. What is it? Window, this, self, frames. What are this? All these different keywords and referring to the same global object. It's crazy, isn't it? Right? So, what happened is, I'll tell you the history why all this happened, right? I will tell you the history of why all this happened. So, when browsers were created, they were using V8 engine. They named it window. And then all the people who were writing code on the browser, they started using window as the global object. Then there was a concept of this. Then this started pointing to window object in the browsers. Then what happened? There is a concept of web workers came in. Inside web workers, they started writing self, right? They used the word self to denote the global object. When Node.js was created, the creator started using global as the global object, right? So what happened is there was a very big discrepancy inside, on every platform, be it web worker, be it web browser, be it Node.js, everywhere at the end of the day, we are writing JavaScript, isn't it? We are writing JavaScript at the end of the day, right? So there should be a common global object, isn't it? Don't you think that there should be a common global object, right? Somewhere I am writing Windows, somewhere I am writing global, somewhere I am writing self, somewhere I am writing frames. So many different types of global object are there. Now, to standardize this, in 2020, JavaScript committee, I told you, right? There is a foundation which is known as OpenJS Foundation. They are actively maintaining JavaScript and they are developing new features inside JavaScript. They came up with a proposition that there should be a standard global object in all the runtime environments, I would say, right? If you are using Node, if you are using browser, if you are writing web worker, everywhere there should be a single global object and there should be a single way to represent it. Now, what should be that single way? Somebody, the proposal came in, and in that proposal, somebody said, okay, let's make global keyword as the global for everywhere, right? The browser should also understand global, the web worker should also understand global, and all these things, right? Some people said it should be window, some people said it should be self, there were different proposals. Later on, but the committee did not decide on any of these keywords. Why? The answer is because, see, suppose in the later version of browsers, the global, suppose right now if you write global over here, nothing will happen, right? global, right? It says that global is not defined. Suppose at some later point of time, global started pointing to window object. Then what will happen is, suppose some people or some website are using this word global as their variable name. There will be a conflict with their variables, isn't it? There will be a lot of confusion if you write the word global or if you make the word window or this or self as a standard. So what committee did was they came up with a new word, and that was known as global this. Okay, global this. Okay, this word they came up with global this. And this global this was referring to global object in across all JavaScript runtime. Okay, whether it is browser, whether it is Node.js, whether it is anywhere you write JavaScript piece of code, you should get this global this. So this global this was introduced in, I think, ES 2022. I think in 2020, right? In 2020 it was proposed. I am not sure. But see, the compatibility is full now. All the browsers are supporting it. See, Node.js is supporting it, Dino is supporting it, Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Opera, Safari, all of these. See, all these browsers, suppose if there is this global this came in, right? Suppose if global this came in over here. Suppose global this came in. So right now, I am just talking about Node.js. Similarly, there is Chrome, there is Firefox, there is Safari, there is Mozilla Internet Explorer, there is Edge. So all these browsers have their own V8, not V8 engine, their own JavaScript engine, and all these browsers should support global this. So this is a standard which is made by the committee, and now everybody uses global this. And see, it is supported by all the browsers now. After version 71, it was supported by all the browsers. Got it? So what I'm trying to say is, if you go back to the console, if you write global this over here, it will also refer to window, the global object on the browser. If you write global this over here, right? If I write global this, let me do a console.log of global this. Okay. What will this refer to? This will refer to, see, let me just run this code. This will refer to the same global object. Do you see this? This will refer to the same global object. Do you see? It points to, basically it points to the same global object. It is not a copy or something. It is just pointing it. In JavaScript, it's just a reference, right? Objects are reference. So objects are created by reference. So if it's come, and if you do a console.log of, let me just show it to you. Let me verify it. Global this equal to global, right? What will happen is, what will happen now is, it will give you true over here. That means global is equal to global this. Do you understand this? My dear friends, see, my teaching style is to go in deep and tell you very small, minute details. I want to give as much knowledge. See, whenever I make a course, I try to give, I read a lot on the web. I follow the modern developments in JavaScript, in Node.js and all these things. So I have a lot of content which is there in my head. I want to give you as much knowledge as I can. Whatever is coming to my mind, what I do whenever I record these videos, I just come with an empty mind, and then I just think about what all is coming to my mind, what all thoughts are coming, I just put it down in these videos. Because you never know when this is helpful for you. 99% of the courses that you will find online does not cover all these small things. But I want my students to be very good in minute small details. This is not even Node.js. This is JavaScript, right? That the concept of global this has come up. But hardly any of you would know this. I am telling you, right? Whenever I talk to students, nobody knows about global this, global. They think that this and global is same thing over here also. Some people are confused with what is there in browser. Some people are confused with what is there in Node.js. Some people don't even know that there is some standard which has come up, which is known as global this. They don't even know. When I tell them, they are amused, right? I'm not sure if you are amused or not, but I want to cover every small minute detail which is there with me, the knowledge which I have gained to you, whether it is whatever course, right? Even if I have to teach a little bit of JavaScript to make you understand some Node.js concepts, I will do that too. Don't worry, because I just don't want to finish this course very soon or very fast or this, that, right? Just make a course very fast and then keep selling to people. No, I want to dive deep and tell you and educate you properly. Because see, if you will, I am a teacher who wants appreciation. See, teaching is kind of like an art, and artist is just hungry of claps and appreciation, right? I am a teacher. If my students come to me and then they will say, Akshay, you taught me very small things and I have understood everything. This is the greatest pleasure that I can get from my teaching, right? So this is what I do. My only, whenever I make videos, whenever I teach people, my only goal is that how can I give all the knowledge that I have got in a very easy way for students to understand, right? And then explain them in detail, right? Going into depths, so that covering all the scenarios, so that you don't miss it, right? And once your foundation, small, these type of things are clear in your head, you gain confidence. When you will go to interview, you would know exactly what you are writing in your code. Some people just randomly write global dot something. Some people just randomly write this dot something. Some people just randomly write global this dot something. They don't understand what is happening. But if you understand what is happening behind the scenes, why you are writing some piece of code, what is the meaning of that code, that will make you a very good developer. And that is what my aim is whenever I teach my students. I want you to be as good as, like, very good developers, right? Not as good as. I don't want to compare you with anyone. very good developers that you can go and actually understand what is happening inside JavaScript, what new things are coming in. I will, in this series, let me tell you that I will try to dive deep and show you the exact Node.js code also, so that you can go to the GitHub repository of Node.js and you understand what the creator of Node.js has written, how Node.js is maintained. You can go inside and read the Node.js code. I want you to be that capable. I just don't want you to teach that, okay, this is how you do write an API call in Node. No. I want to go to one level deep. I want you to be a very good developer that you can go and contribute to Node at some point of time. Why not, right? If I tell my students that, why don't you go and resolve the issues inside Node? Try to see how Node.js works. They feel that, oh, Akshay, why are you kidding me? I don't know. It's very complex. I don't understand the Node.js code. The Node.js repository is open source. But then nobody goes and ever reads about Node.js code there, right? I will try to cover a lot of things in future videos also. I will see how much deep I can go in. I can't just explain you the whole Node.js repository or something, but I will try to touch small things so that the curiosity is alive inside you. Hope you would have understood what is global this, and what is the confusion all about the global object in the whole JavaScript runtime environments, right? And I am not just giving you the backend knowledge or Node.js knowledge. I'm giving you all the knowledge across all, right? What happens in browser, what happens in Node.js, and what happens in other JavaScript runtimes. Okay, so hope you are liking this. If you are liking this, my dear friends, please, I request you to go to social media, write about us, share your knowledge, maybe whatever you have learned in these videos, just share it on social media, on your LinkedIn, on your Twitter, on your Instagram, wherever you are active. Please share it across, tag me in your post. I would love to read about it. Please share about Node.js to your friends, to your family, to everyone in your network, and help us reach more and more developers, so that this great knowledge can reach a lot of developers, and we as a developer community can elevate, right? So that's all. That is my request. Thank you for watching this video. In next video, we are going to cover amazing concepts. We are going to see that how you can create multiple files and write codes. I will show you how modules work. What is a module inside Node.js? I will tell you a lot of cool stuff. Is coming in. Please watch the next video and see you in the next video very soon. Bye-bye. See you.